Okay, give me 1 second, please. Sorry, I'm setting up the thing right now. Sorry, being a little awkward for the moment. Yeah, just trying to get the whole thing set up for today. Okay, let's turn on the lights for now, and here we go. There. Not sure if anyone can see me, but I am still trying to. Sorry, I've done that before. So, welcome to another night of making miniatures, which is tiny little things in tiny little life. So, anyway, for today, I am still going to make tiny things of my tiny, cafe slash garden slash kitchen slash comfort zone. Yeah, anyway. So for today's main thing that I am going to focusing on is part of the cafe that is mainly doing let me have a look. Yeah, mainly the gardening tools for the gardening things I'm doing it. So yeah, so as you can see, I previously made some seed packaging here, and now we are going to make some dirt bag. No, a dirt bag today, and we'll see how the thing goes. Then hopefully later on, I'm gonna do some paint over my little pots over here, a plant pots over here, because now it looks still pretty plastic to me, so I might do some coloring up for it later. So let's start with the dirt bag first. Yeah, I got few materials over here, few fabric that I previously have saved on before, and I'm gonna use it for today, and we'll see how it goes. Basically, I'm just gonna do it as it goes. So if anyone coming want to have a chat, you can always do that. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be fun, hopefully. As I was always saying, fun is something that you look for and sometimes you make out for it, okay? Because, fun don't just show up to us. Fun is something that you create and you made, and hopefully something will become, interesting about it. So just give me a second. Anything. So yeah, basically, again, saying anything goes, and we'll see how the whole thing works, so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. So I got my big scissor in here, which is the tiny one I'm using before. It's just easier to use, a regular scissor to cut it like that. And now that's cut, and we'll see how the whole thing works. Because what I'm trying to do is trying to make a dirt sack like this, then you glue it on the side, and we'll see how the whole thing goes. Yeah, you can sometimes just found that it's easier to use glue like this to glue the whole thing over it. So we'll see how the whole thing goes, okay? So now do is to apply a little bit of glue on the side, just some tiny bits of it. You don't want the whole thing to have, with the glue goes all over the place. Oops, give me a second. And because I'm doing two of them on the in the same time, so hopefully, one gets dry before another I have to glue. So anyway, let's see how it goes. Yeah. Well, I can fold it and glue it. That depends. Yeah, I now it's I was doing this same thing before. I'm always trying on new things, and hopefully something works. And if it don't, then we'll try to do it in another way. Okay? So yeah. Anyway, now what I'm gonna do is I glue another one. Yeah. Well, another side actually, not another one. Because now I'm doing two of them, but I'm using different methods to see which one works better. Yeah, because you never really know whether one will work or another one works or not. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's it. And that's that. And now roll it. I think it's better if I just glue it in another way. Yeah, I think I'll just fold it. It's better. Now that one, I'll just fold it for now. Yeah, I will hold it for now. And with this one, what I'm gonna do is to fold it like that, like so. Yeah, I'm gonna do double, which I'm gonna glue it inside and I'm gonna glue it outside too. So it's like, I do it twice. It might be a twice as work, but it will look twice as more tidier. Yeah, it's just less messiness to it. So yeah, basically, I'm just putting moves on top of it. I'm not sure if you can see it. Yeah, sorry for the angle of the camera. So yeah, basically what I do is kind of basically just fold it inside and maybe fold it up like that. But once you fold it up, you gotta glue it open. So I have to do the other side first before I apply the whole thing for it. So yeah. So yeah. Inside, and now I'm going to do a fold it like so. As you can see, slowly like so. You don't need too big of thing to pour over. You just need to do a little bit of it. Okay. Then you put glue on top of it. Because I'm doing both sides of it, I'm making it bare, so it's better to just do it like so. I don't want glue getting on my hand all over the place for it. So anyway, yeah, you fold it up like that, like so. You can always use pinch to do it as well, because you don't want the whole thing to fall all over the place. But basically, yeah, like that and like so. And it looks much more realistic if you put sewing marks on the side. Yeah, it would look much more realistic if you do that, but for now, I'm not quite sure if I want to do that or not. But however, I did prepare some of those gardening gravels that I think you can get it in, I don't know how to say that in English, for a gardening store. You can get this kind of gravel. They are already pretty fine in pieces, so I'm trying to put it inside the bag that I just made. Ooh, and hopefully it don't fall over the place with whatever that I'm doing right now. So yeah. Anyway, so let's see if this one works. If not, then I will just have to glue it again. I don't think it works. So anyway, yeah, as I was saying, and I think another thing with miniature is kind of fun and in ways that are interesting. If you can found mistake in time, redo it. Just take it all apart and do it over again. And that's the thing I think, with miniature, well, with any kind of crafting, really, it's just, it's kind of fun to do that. It's frustrating sometimes, because, you finally finish something, and with time you try to put things together, and, sometimes some things just don't work. It just fucks shit up, and, yeah, shit happens. So anyway, yeah. But I think sometimes, even though shit happens, sometimes it's a good shit, sometimes a bad shit. Who knows? No one knows. No one really know until, one person stands out and saying, oh yeah, it is a good shit. Think about it back in the day. When I say back in the day, like way back. Picasso did not Picasso, Van Gogh. Sorry about Mr. Picasso. But anyway, Van Gogh did not sell any of his painting when he's alive. He did not sell any of them, as far as I know, about the history of his art. Until the time that he has passed away, then people start realizing, oh my God, his work is amazing. You know. So that's another thing I'm saying. Like, people don't like, doesn't mean what you're making is not something that are worth of looking at it. Art nowadays can be difficult to measure, to say, oh, one person makes great art, one person does not. One person create this, is fantastic, and another person makes this, is a piece of shit. Well, it's hard to say. Contemporary art nowadays can be so different in forms, in ways. Like, there was an art performances, I think back in a couple of years ago, and I can't really remember who the artist was, but the most strong image back then, how that person presented his art, is by taking a banana, just stick on the wall and use a scotch tape, and just basically stick the bananas on the wall, and that's it. That's whatever. I think it was a he. Yeah, it's a he that they do, and they call that, I don't know, art. So as I was saying before, nowadays arts can be forms that are so hard to determine. Some people can say, oh, it's good art, it's good crafting, it's this and that, and some people would jump out and saying like, oh, this is just a piece of shit, you bought it online and you're just making it. Yeah, we all are. Like, we are not, Da Vinci or Picasso or whatever the famous artists are. Most of us are making something, whether we bought it online or we found ideas online and we try to make it to the form that how we liked it. Oops, just give me a second, I'm trying to open this. So anyway, everyone's got different type of idea. For example, what I do is I don't design. I didn't have the time yet to redesign the whole thing from the scratch, but I might do it in the future. I don't know. I am planning at it, but I haven't really got the time, well, the energy to really do that, because to design something completely new from the beginning, it's a little bit hard. Yeah, it's a bit hard, and it's not really something that I don't know. It's not really something that are okay or not okay to do. Like, you need to spend time and energy to do it. So anyway, so now I have popped the seams open. It was stick it to it before. Now I'm just trying to shovel some of those gravels in. Oopsie. I don't want the whole thing to go a little crazy. It looks a little bit more realistic if you're putting the, almost the real thing into it. Yeah, even though no one's gonna see any of this little bits, pieces inside of it. No one's gonna see. No one's gonna tell. No one knows. Oh, whatever that looks like. But yeah, I just found it's a little bit more realistic if you're putting almost the real thing inside of it. Yeah. So anyway, back to talking about artists. A couple of days ago, I met well, actually, we have a little group, a gaming group online, and one of the little kids, well, I call it little kids because it's really a little kid. I think she's in her high school or the freshman years in college. I can't really tell because she did not say too much information about it, and you don't know whether that person is saying it real or not. But anyway, she was talking about she's doing courses by students worry about it. Once she graduated, there's no way that she can find job if you're a design student. And I'm just kind of, if if that's whatever your original ideas of to pick your courses or choose your major in the beginning, then why? Like, I mean, really, to the point of like just saying why. If your goal is about making, okay, yeah, as you can see, now looks a little bit more realistic. You have smaller crumpled bits that you can see it over here. So yeah, basically that's how it looks like. So yeah, I mean, if your goal is about making money and make life better to live, to whatever, then why are you, how should I say it? Why don't you choose the major that can make money in the beginning? If that's your ultimate goal of making money, other than choosing something that you have a talent for or something that you love about it. For example, if my goal is about making money or making profit, I wouldn't, sit in my little room and doing something that are not so productive, because I used to make miniature for my own pleasure. Okay, I do it because I got time. First of all, I got time, and second is because I'm not bored of not making it, but I was kind of looking for something to fill my other time space. Yeah. So anyway, that's me. That's me of saying it. That's how I deal with all the times that I think I have for whatsoever. But not everyone's like that. There are people who are more focusing on making profit with their with the talents that they got. I mean, that's great too. I mean, that's absolutely awesome. I just don't have the time yet or to think about it. How exactly am I going to do that? Because I don't have that much of resources, or I should say, I did not spend that much time to research on how exactly am I going to do that for. So anyway, and also because I'm doing streaming right now, basically part-time. I'm not like some of streamers who are absolutely going and really striking and doing almost like, I don't know, 24 hours a day. Maybe not long, but at least 8 hours a day. I've seen it before. I can't really do that yet, even though I want to. But I've got a regular job, so I can't really go on and do something that that are so time consuming, even though I wish I can, but not for the moment. So anyway, back to the little topic. I'm making a gravel bag right now, which, with gardenings, you need to put in gravels, to in soils, in your little gardening tools, or, plants, whatever that you're making it. So that's what I make today. And also, plus, if we got some more time, I might paint a few other pieces that I have. For example, um, the flower pot over here. It looks pretty plastic right now, and I'm trying to put some different color to it and mix a little bit more, just a little bit. Yeah, so as you can see, now the gravel bag is basically done. What I'm gonna do is put it in on the corner of the cafe, which I will show you right now. But just give me a second because I'm gonna move the cameras around, and my room's a little bit messy right now. So basically, that's the part of the cafes I'm still working on. As you can see, it's a little bit messy right now, and I will show you just by moving the cameras a bit. As you can see it, yeah. Anyway, messy. So I'm basically just gonna put, few of those back. I'm gonna cover the wire up later, and it's gonna stick on the walls, and I'm gonna put it green because I'm trying to make it as winery as possibly can. I'm gonna put a few of those gravels on the side and make it a little bit more realistic, and hopefully, put one of them just kind of tumbling on the ground and make the gravels just show a little bit, on the side, and makes it a little bit more authentic. So give me 1 second. I'm just moving right back to wherever I'm making it. Sorry. So just give me a second. So that's basically what the whole thing will be look like, and we'll see how the whole thing goes. So now I'm gonna shovel more gravels back to the back, and hopefully, something will show. Hopefully. Just give me a second, because I don't want the whole thing to pop out open. So the gardening things, as you can see, it pops right open. Yeah, sometimes things like that do happen, so you have to double check before you put everything back to wherever it is. So basically, just double check. Work is not something that you just put in and you do whatever the F you want, okay? Yeah, I think, it's more about you need to really focus on them. And same thing with jobs. You don't have to drive yourself nuts to go through all the details. But if it's your own work and you care about it, you spend time on it, wouldn't be a good idea to just check a little bit before, you sell the whole thing or whatsoever? Yeah. You don't have to go triple check, but just do it double, okay? Do a double and see how the whole thing goes, and if it works, then yeah, okay, yeah. But if it doesn't work, then that's it. So, trying to pull the whole thing through like that, like so. I don't want the whole thing to stick onto the top at the moment. So yeah, anyway. So I'm not sure if anyone has a garden experience before. I had a little bit when I was in Canada. My homestay has a little house, and she has a little back garden. Now she grows quite a bit of plants and trees and whatsoever. I've talked about it in my previous streaming before, but I'm not quite sure which one was. But anyway, she grows cucumbers, chives, tomatoes, strawberry, and lilac. And also one of my favorite flowers, I'm not quite sure if it grows um, some other places. I know this plant only grows in places that are really cold because I've heard about it, the little root thing. I can't remember. It's like, um, what's that called? Lily? Yeah, lily has a little hot things at the bottom as well. I can't remember how that calls. But as far as I know about these plants, that the pots that they have it inside the soil needs to be frozen through winter. Then it will blossom during spring. And the plant is called lily of the valley. And in Mandarin, it's actually called Linglan. And in Japanese, and I know it's called Slan. So I really, really, really love that plant. First of all, it smells wonderful. It smells so amazing. It has a really a light um, smell to it, but it gets stronger over time. But um, but that type of flowers are really fragile and small, and they only grow in shade. They don't grow under the sun well. They only grow in the shade. And if you saw, I think in some places they call them a little elf inside a garden, or spirits or something. I can't remember. I still have to check online on what. So anyway, um, yeah, I really like that flowers. It just smells amazing, but they don't really grow in many places. I only thing that I've only places I've ever seen was in Canada, because it gets really cold in the summer. But I believe and I know in other places they have that kind of plants as well, which I haven't been to a lot of places yet. So hopefully that wherever you live, you can get your time to enjoy the plants called the Delta Valley. So yeah, it shapes like a little belt, and I think it cuts in other color too, but the flowers are mostly white. So it's a really beautiful plant, and it smells amazing. So yeah, and also another plant, my homestay. Well, it's actually a tree. It's more. It's not just a plant. It's actually a tree that I really really loved it because it smells good. It looks good. I think it blossomed during summer or early spring. I can't remember because it was a while ago. But it smells so good, and it's called lilac, and it has those purple flowers that basically just drips down. Give me a second. Oh god. So it basically drips down. Um, so I know in Japan, in some of the Japan city has that as well, and they even have a festival. They have a festival about it. So yeah, I think that's really cool. I think this one I don't want to get all the way up to too full because I might glue some. I might glue, mix it with glue inside of it. Yeah, I might gonna pour a little bit outside and see how the effect looks like. But I'm not quite sure. With this one, I wanna tidy it all up. I might just sprinkle some of it onto the floor, and hopefully it gives a little bit more realistic look for it. So yeah, so that's the thing. That's a little gravels that we have today. And with the flower, sorry, my throat's a bit dry at the moment. I might get some drink. 1 minute. Oh yeah, talking about drinks. I don't know who anybody has a choice of drinks. I know some people more into alcohol or whatsoever. I mean, you can drink, nothing wrong with drinking, but don't overdo it. Yeah, when I say don't overdo it, don't overdo it. I've seen people who overdone it, and it's just, it's beyond intoxication. Yeah, way beyond intoxication. It's bad. It's really bad for it. And now I'm just trying to think, should I make a bag to hold all those things, or should I make a box? Because I'm not quite sure I want to make a box to hold everything inside. Because with this one, it's basically, I might gonna use this little boxes over here to put, to layer actually some of the gardening tools that I have over here. But inside area, I'm thinking of putting a tiny box over in here, but I'm not quite sure how big I want the box to be, because I don't want the whole thing to be too huge about it, because once if it gets too huge, then I can't really fit anything into it. So I'm still thinking how big I should make the whole thing, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe something that big, something that much, and we'll do half of it. Yeah. Well, we'll see how the whole thing works. So yeah, I'm still thinking how am I going to make the boxes, because it can be a little annoying. Yeah, I have to draw it. First of all, I have to draw it, and second of all, I have to fold it while I use this little tiny papers that I have. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's just give it a try. See how it goes. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. This one is really just did not go as planned. Okay, this one is basically just out of blue, and I'm just trying something that I am doing a little origami about it, and hopefully it works. Yeah, hopefully it works. So we'll see. So now basically computer, and hopefully it will become the box that I want it to be. I'm not quite sure. I don't even know if I'm doing it right now. I'm just trying to make something out of it, because I found sometimes it's just more a bit more surprised that what you can make if you just do it out of blue. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And if it works, yeah, fine, great. If it doesn't, then we'll see how the whole thing works or not. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. Hopefully something will eventually works. And if it doesn't, then we'll see what we can make out of it. Yeah, I'm just trying to make something out of it. So yeah, trying to fold the whole thing up like so. Oh yeah, something's coming along. Okay. Oh no, okay, oh no. Well, sometimes it's good, and sometimes saying it before. So anyway, yeah, I make it. This looks a little bit like a ladle, but now I'm trying to make a box out of it. So what I'm gonna do right now is to basically fold it like so. Oh, damn, this is so tiny. Well, you can do it by hand if you can, and if you can't, just using a clip or a tweezer or whatever that thing is called to fold it. Okay, and I most of the time like to fold it by hand, even though things like this are so small. I'm not sure if you can see it. So yeah, basically I'm just doing it by hand. So anyway, fold it like that and fold it like so. Just, okay, fold it like that. And now what you do is you try to separate it out. Or, oh yeah, another way I can do it. No, give me a second. I found something you can do. Yeah, just fold it like so. Yeah. Just found another way that you can do it. I'm not quite sure this one's going to be okay or not. You know, as I was saying, everything I'm doing right now is all experiment. I'm just trying out which one works better, which one does not work at all. And if it works, I'm gonna using it for future references. And if it doesn't work, I'll just take it apart. As I was saying before, that's the thing about creation and making miniatures. You know. Yeah, like this one does not work. Anyway. What I'm gonna do right now is to pull up a little side like so. I'm not saying it does not completely work, but it just does not work as I expect it to be. You know, it still has a little box shape that it looks like before. It looks a bit like the way how I wanted, but it's not exact. Trying to make boxes that's a little bit more like, you know, looking like this, but yeah. However, right now it does not work with that one. Oopsie. So, oh yeah, I got boxes over here too. I got boxes over there too. I'm not quite sure where it is, but we'll see. Yeah, am I gonna use this one to do it? So I'm not sure if you can see it. So yeah, let's see how the whole thing works. Yeah, I'm just not quite sure if that's the size that I wanted. But however, yeah, let's just cut it for now. And hopefully we can get something out of it. So as I was saying it before, everything is an experiment in life. You know, some people might think it's tedious to do it from time to time, but I found, you know, sometimes it's kind of fun. You know, trying out something or trying out different things, well, different ways, but doing the same thing, you know. And sometimes, I don't know, you know, something might work, sometimes don't work, you know. That's the fun thing about, you know, making something like this. So I saw someone on the internet who's using everyday materials to make miniatures. That I found is also a really amazing thing that he or she is doing it. Yeah, it's a pretty amazing. I can't reach that level yet, you know, because inside the video that he or she is showing, it has all those fancy tools. Yeah, when I say fancy tools, they have electronic saw, they have the electronic, what's that called? Sander, yeah, sander that you can do it. You can mold the whole thing up. So yeah, I don't have any of that yet. Yet, I don't have it yet. So I don't know, maybe in the future if I, you know, ever got my hands on one of those tools, then maybe, you know, it's hard to say. We'll see. We'll see. So anyway, I'm just trying to cut it in shapes and hopefully to get the whole thing not fucked up, but you know, get the whole thing in shape as close as it possibly can, but we'll see. As I say all the time, we will see. It's hard to judge whether, you know, one thing is the right thing to do or one thing is the wrong thing to do or whatsoever. It's always hard to judge or always hard to see it. So hopefully we can get these things done by today. Hopefully. I already got a gravel bag done, which is right over here. And later on, I don't know, maybe, I'll get the thing to finish as much as I can, which is a little bit hard sometimes. Yeah, I know in few places right now, today is Monday, yeah, but then, and to go through a week and facing Monday, sometimes it's a little bit hard, and for most people it's hard, you know, because you gotta, first of all, you gotta get up early. If you have family, you gotta get work out while like 4 or 5 in the morning, get things ready, get a kid's meal ready, get a breakfast ready, get a lunch ready, get a books ready, get her clothes ready, or whatsoever. If you're a household wife or a father. Nowadays, it's hard to say because you're talking about gender equality. So, in some families, the mother are doing this. In some families, the fathers are doing this. But in some families, both of them are doing this. They take in turns. So it's hard to say, whoever is doing what and doing on what. So yeah, basically I look like this. I'll put this on top of it later on, and basically just glue the whole thing down to it. It looks a little bit more stick about it. So we'll see. So now, God, the thing about using glue like this is they basically always forms a little mishmash on top of it, and it's kind of really gross whatsoever. But you need to get rid of it. It also works as a little seals on top of it. Basically seal the whole thing up. But yeah, if you want your whole thing to look a little bit cleaner and tidier, clean that shit up. Okay. So anyway, now I'm just waiting for the glue to dribble it down. Yeah, just anyone. Oh yeah, talking about gardening. Before, yeah, I did a little bit when I was in Canada, and but I don't really do much in Taiwan. I think mainly it's because the weather. Taiwan's weather and the temperature tends to be wetter and much more humid. Through almost a year really long. Even though we got really hot summer, but during winter we don't get any really extreme cold weather. We did have extreme cold weather before, but not like we got snow or hail in the city, unless there is a phenomenal things going on. But we don't really have that. So, however, in some places, I know when I was in Canada, they got hails and they got snowstorms and they got a lots of different things going on back in time. Just give me a second. I try to find my clip. Yeah, the one I have before. I don't know where is it right now. I can't see it. So I'm just trying to grab the one I previously using on the side. So anyway. So yeah, so I don't really do much of gardening when I was in Taiwan, just mainly because the weather, because it's much more humid, it's less cold and less humid. Yeah, when I was in compared to when I was in Canada, because in Canada, because the altitude is higher, it's much more colder and less humid when I was back in there. So yeah, it's okay for me to stay in the sun for, you know, hours or two. You know, it's completely okay. But in Taiwan, it's not just the heat will drive you nuts. It's also the humidity will drive you nuts. And also, in a way, it's also the mozzies. Yeah, can Aussie says that it's just the mosquitoes, and yeah, we got a lot different species. Yeah, just mosquitoes going on. So yeah, basically that's just what it is. And I am pretty squeamish about that thing, and also I don't know, just physically I'm more sensitive toward to that insects. So yeah, it's really not something that I prefer to interact with it. So anyway, that's just what it is. So yeah, so basically what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put things. I'm not sure if I want to put the whole thing in or just on the ground. Yeah, I'm like gonna cut. Yeah, I'm gonna cut a few of them in here. Just not quite sure how I'm gonna do it. Because this one's much more longer than I expect it to be. So we go up to here. Or should I say I should cut it in here on the side? Yeah, I think I should cut it on the side. Oopsie, this scissors is easier to cut it if I do it like this. Okay, so that's that. But now, yep, so now I'm gonna just fit the whole thing in. Yeah, that works. Just grab a bit of glues on the side and just try to stick the whole thing in. Well, you don't need to put a lot. You just need to make sure the whole thing sticks in and just put a right amount of glues on top of it. You don't need a whole lot of it. You just need the right amount of it. And you kind of push it in down like so. And push it down like so. Okay. Yeah. And then you trim it on the side, basically like so. A little bit of trimming. You need to do a lot, you know, just do a little bit. But remember to use a sharp scissor, because if you don't have a sharp one, you might get into a chaotic situation that something might just fuck up a little bit. So anyway, put it in like so. Well, I'm still trying to see if the whole thing works or not. You know, I don't know. I don't know if the whole thing works or not. But I'm just trying to see if it works. If it works, yeah, great. If it doesn't, then fuck it. Where is another one? Yeah, yeah, I know there's 4 of them. You know, because I saw that. So, anyway. So, now what I'm gonna do is to put the things around like so. Yeah, basically just go around like that. Yeah, and and see how the whole thing works. So, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut it like that. So, it's talking about sharp scissors. Yeah, this one's a little bit dull as well. I'm trying to try not to use this scissor for any other purpose other than cutting fabric. I'm trying, because sometimes it's hard. It's hard to find one that's really good in cutting materials like this. So anyway, so what I'm doing right now, I think I'm using a Scotch double tape to do it. Well, we'll see how the whole thing works. Sometimes, as I was saying before, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And you just keep on trying to find the part that actually works. So anyway, for today, well, at least we got one thing done. Others because it's more like an experiment, other than something I planned it and I know how to do it exactly. It's pretty much all experiments I'm doing today. And also because for me it's Sunday, I don't want to get into something that's too heavier with the whole work I'm doing right now. It's mainly, chit chat or things whoever he or she has encountered into it, and hopefully, we can have a different type of conversation toward to different topic other than just making miniatures, because I think sometimes making miniature is fun, but if people have things in their life they want to talk about it, that's fine too, because it's more important other than just being complaining about life all the time. And I just found that it's much more important to have connection through that other than chit chat or complaining and whining about things all the time. So yeah, so hopefully I can cut this through. God damn, this is hard to cut it, especially with tapes on. So anyway, hopefully can get the thing cut to the point that I wanted. If not, I might just think another way to do it other than doing something about it. Not quite sure I got enough material to work on them. I got few. I don't have that much, but I got few materials I can work on with it. Yeah, I think I could cut it, but it's gonna be messy. Okay, it's not going to be too pretty about it, of the whole thing. Yeah, as I was saying it before, it's gonna be messy. It's not going to be pretty. So I did cut it. So now I'm trying to make a sense out of the whole thing, which it's going to be a little bit messy. Yeah, we'll see what I can use it with whatever materials that I got it left over from here. And that's the thing I was afraid to have a little pointy bits over in here, which I don't want that at all. Yeah, I don't want that to be, looking a little bit shite about it. So I basically just do it like this. It's a little bit messy, but you never know what you're gonna get, and unless you do it. Sometimes it turns out to be good, and sometimes it turns out to be shit. And like some people would say, if you know something is going to be shit, or something even going to be much more worse, then you might think about it as time to do a little, abortion for it, to cut it. But anyway, sometimes there is parts that you can fix it, sometimes there are parts that you just can't fix it at all. But with this one, I think, I can do a little bit of modifying or a little bit twisted about it, and hopefully the next time should look as good as it's supposed to go, because it's in the bottom, you can't really see it from there. But anyway, yeah, I might just do a little bit more patch on top of it, right over there, just a little bit. So just trying to major the lens. I don't want to get a lens fuck up. So yeah, so anyway. So. You cut it like so. Oopsie. And same thing, I am using tapes to tape on top of it. Yeah, just using duct tape, wherever. And there you go. You cut it like that. And you basically put it on top of it. Because once you glue the whole thing on top of it, first of all, it holds in places. You won't have all of the pieces goes over the place, So it basically holds everything in places, no matter if it's the place that you want it or not or whatever. It just holds it. Okay, then you cut out the parts that you don't want it, basically like so. Put it on the side, and what you do is you peel it. And when you peeling something like this, you need to be careful, because it's quite fragile to do it. So anyway, trying to do this up to point that, basically I want the whole thing to be at least, I don't know, 85% done. And if some part of it's just a little bit kind of weird or freakish about it, we'll see how the whole thing works on later. So yeah, so I'm trying to make this, I would say, as reasonable as possibly can be. Because it's not going to show too much about it. It might just show a bit about it. Okay, that's one. And I need to do another side too. you really don't discard anything, you know, if you even have something that's not little, the leftover, I can still use it on both sides of it, which I still need to cut it. So basically, for me, making something like this is not just for fun. It's also to discover what parts that you can reuse. Same thing with life, same thing with humans, same thing with a lot of things. You don't just throw away things that you found as no useful for you, because there is a saying that one person's trash might be other people's treasure. So it's hard to say, something that you don't want in, maybe some other people would love it and treasure about it. So anyway, hopefully the thing can looks better when the next time I will show you, and hopefully something can grow up to be that I can show you in the next time when streaming about it. And however, I did not make the little box or whatever to put in those things in, but I still need to think about it how exactly I'm going to do that. So for the next time, on Wednesday, and hopefully I can show you something that I've thought about it more about it. So we'll see you guys on the next streaming, and next time hopefully I can come up with a few better ideas about making things like this and less messier. So we'll see how the whole thing goes. And for tonight, thank you for tuning in.